All right, this is relevant to you people, especially outside of the land of Israel. This was given in 1991, Tafshin Nun Aleph, when it was exactly the same order as this year. We had the holiday of Shavuot, when the Torah was given, fell on Friday. And therefore, outside of Israel, there was 2 days, so it was Friday and Shabbat. So that pushed off 1 week the reading of Naso. But nevertheless, it's relevant. So let's go. Shaykhut, the connection. So I just want to make this point. Oh. The connection of this Shabbat, which is the day of the giving of the Torah, is stressed in many ways. Like I say, outside of Israel, Shavuot was on Shabbat as well. Here in Israel, it's just on Friday. This coming Friday. First of all, because it's the day of Shabbat, and it's the first Shabbat after the giving of the Torah, right? In Israel, in Israel, and also outside of Israel, the first day of the holiday is Shabbat. Is Friday. I'm sorry, it's Friday. So the first Shabbat after the holiday, here the Rebbe is talking about when he gave this speech. This was not the second day of Shavuot. This is 1 week after, right? So in Israel, we'll be reading this coming Shabbat Naso, and Shabbat after Ba'alotcha we'll be reading. But outside of Israel, they'll be reading Naso. And that's what the Rebbe did here. This was 1 week after the holiday of Shavuot. Okay, so because this is the first Shabbat after Shavuot, there's a Matan Torah. You know, by us also the first Shabbat after the giving of the Torah will be Parshat Naso, but it'll be the day after. By them, it's 8 days after. Befrat, and especially that the day of Shabbat after the giving of the Torah is B'yamei Tashlumim. It is in the days of the completion of the holiday. By us, not. Tashlumim. In the time of the Beit HaMikdash, every holiday they had to bring sacrifices for the holiday, and they had 7 days to make it up. But the holiday themselves was 7 days. But the holiday of Shavuot is only 1 day. But nevertheless, they had 7 days after the holiday of Shavuot to make up the Zaman Matan Torah. Hadgasha Yetera, but even more this year, Shazaman Matan Torah, it falls on the Yom Rishon B'Shavua, the Yom Shabbat Shala'achreo is Yud Beit Sivan. And so Matan, the day of the giving of the Torah, fell on the first day of the week, and the Shabbat afterwards is the 12th day. Shkivan Shasiyam V'Chosam Kol Holech Achreis Chosam is the days of Tashlumim, is Shabbat. So therefore, there's an elevation of all the days. Okay, the calendar wasn't exactly the same way this year as it was when the Rebbe gave this speech, but nevertheless, okay. So it says the first Shabbat, which comes after the holiday of Shavuot, elevates the holiday of Shavuot. What's this relevant to us? Parshat Naso. We're reading Parshat Naso. Nasei et Rosh. Right? Like I said, in Israel, we read Parshat Naso the day after. And outside of Israel, you read Parshat Naso 1 week after. She'ikar Shleimot Inyan of Nesiut Rosh. What is this week's Torah portion talking about? It's talking about counting the Jewish people. In this case, it's counting the tribe of Gershon. It's counting the Jewish people, counting the Levites. The word for counting in this case is lifting up. Nasoed Rosh, lift up the head. Is Limud Torah, learning the Torah. Below, not only that, Ella, Sha'al Yadei, by means of this, is also made an elevation of the whole body. When you lift up a person's head, you lift up the whole body. Namely, what does it mean lifting up your head? Like we just finished learning in Likutei Torah. Prayer, when a person prays, he lifts up his consciousness, lifts up his attention to the truth. He starts to realize that there's something more than just meets the eye. There's a creator that lifts his head, so to speak, above the clouds, so we can get a better look at the world. That's elevation. That also will serve us when he does work in the world. Whether we're talking about doing the commandments or mundane things in the world, like it says, all of your deeds should be the sake of heaven. That everything that he does should be permeated with godliness. But often the kol masecha L'Shem Shemayim, that all of your deeds should be for the sake of heaven, and all of your ways you should know God. And everything should be in the way of Parshas Naso. Naso means to elevate. Yesh Lomer, we can say, that this is Merumas, B'diuk Halashan Naso et Rosh B'nei Gershon Gam Hein. It says in this week's Torah portion, lift up the heads. In other words, count the tribe of Gershon. Gershon was one of the three families of the Levites, and they also had to be counted. So last week we counted Kahat and Merari, the other two families. And this week we're finishing up all the counting of all the Jewish people with the counting of the tribe of the family of Gershon. It says, count Gershon, Gam Haim, also them. Just like I commanded on Kahat and Merari, that by means of counting the Kahat was the ones who, the family of Levites that carried the ark. When the Jews traveled in the desert, so before they started traveling, they made 42 encampments in the desert, and between each encampment they traveled. Right? God said he would lift up the cloud or whatever, and he would tell Moses. Moses would call the people. They would sound the trumpets, and the people would start to move. They would move from one place to another in the desert. And it even has in the Torah a whole long list of where they went to in Parshas Mas'eh, Matos Mas'eh, in the end of this week's, on the end of this book of Numbers, where they traveled. When they traveled, before they started traveling in the desert, they disassembled the tabernacle. It was made in such a way that it was to be disassembled and reassembled. They would take it apart. And the ones that would carry it, the family of Levi, the Levites, they would carry it in the desert. Some of the things like the boards they would put in, they were tremendously heavy, so they would put them into wagons. But it says the ark, though, they would carry on their shoulder. They would put on their shoulder. Who carried the ark, the holy ark? It was covered over, so it couldn't be seen. That was the tribe of Kahat. That was not the tribe, the family of Kahat. There was Kahat, Gershon, Kahat, and Merari. And Kahat, they would carry the ark. By counting them, this elevated even them. The ark, carrying the ark, that's the idea. What was in the ark? In the Aron was the Torah, the tablets. The main thing of Kahat, the holiest job that there could be, was carrying the ark. This is the idea of learning Torah. By means of this is made an elevation of Gershon also. Nosei Areyot, the Gershon, the tribe of Gershon, the family of Gershon, what did they, I keep correcting myself because they were from the tribe of Levi, but there were the three families. So the family of Levi, they carried these different parts of the tabernacle, and Gershon, they carried all of the tapestries and the coverings over the tabernacle. Shekashurim Sharin Yani Avoda. This is also connected to purifying the world. The curtains. Okay, so that's the idea of this week's Torah portion. Nasoi. Nasoi means to raise up, elevate. Even though the tribe of Levi and the different families of the tribe of Levi had holy jobs, but nevertheless they themselves could be elevated because there's no end to elevation of gaining closer to God. Alter says similarly, it's also of the giving of the Torah, the Matan Torah, in the beginning of the learning of Pirkei Avot on Shabbat, which is after the holiday of Shavuot. We have a custom of learning. There's a order of Mishnayot called Pirkei Avot, ethics of the fathers, saying of the fathers. Saying of the fathers. These are the fathers of Judaism, all the Tanaim and Amoraim, those that are disparagingly called by our enemies, they're called the Pharisees. Look into any Webster's dictionary, you see what a Pharisee is. Not a good thing. But these were the people called the Perushim. And their sayings that they have are all gathered up. We say a chapter a week from Rosh Hashanah until the holiday of Shavuot. We've just finished. This Shabbat we finished. We did the six chapters. We finished. Afterwards, we start off again. What's the first Shabbat after? We started Pirkei Avot again, the sayings of the fathers. This is Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai, the whole order of giving of the Torah, and how it was given down through the prophets and the elders, etc., to the wise men, to these Perushim. But Nosaf on Limud Masechet Avot, in addition to learning the Masechet Avot, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Not Rosh Hashanah, from Passover until Atzerot, and then we continue learning until Rosh Hashanah. This is a preparation from Passover. We read a different chapter every week. This is a preparation for the giving of the Torah. We begin again afterwards from the giving of the Torah, and this coming Shabbat. Afterwards, Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai. And how do we start off? We start off again, the first of the 6 chapters of Pirkei Avot. Moses received the Torah from Sinai, and he made a lot of pupils, and we should make a lot of pupils. This is stressing the idea of learning the Torah, and the Torah should be learned by every single Jew until the end of all the generations. In the continuation of this until the end, as we finally we stress also what God did, the whole idea of what God did when He gave the Torah, when we received the Torah, and how we learn the Torah. Also, b'nogei la'avod is birur olam, to refine the world. God gave the Torah to the Jewish people. That's explained in this Pirkei Avot. And then it says on 3 things the world stands: on the Torah, on prayer, and on acts of kindness. And there's 3 things that continue the world. It says on the law, on the truth, and on peace. From this, it's understood. Okay, that's what it says in Pirkei Avot. So from the time that the Torah was given, and all of these days of the Tashlumim, the 7 days after Shavuot, until finally this Parshat Naso, the Shabbat after the giving of the Torah, that then is renewed the whole idea of giving the Torah, because we're reading Pirkei Avot, that God gave the Torah to the Jews. We're repeating this whole idea of God giving the Torah to the world, and that the world is founded on the Torah. And this adds on from every year, because holy things never go away. If people do sins or whatever, so if a person repents, then it's like you never did it. But if a person does a good thing, it says good things remain forever. And so it is learning the Torah. Every year, it gets higher and higher. So therefore, there has to be, by every single Jew, a novelty, b'hosafa, and an addition in everything of the Torah and the commandments in these 3 pillars. What are the 3 pillars that the world stands on? Torah, avoda, gemilas chasadim, learning Torah, prayer, and giving charity. That on them the whole world stands. Like it says in the Torah, b'chodesh hashlishi, in the 3rd month. This is right before the Torah was given. We read this on the holiday of Shavuot. On the 3rd month, shebeshlosha dekavim. Why 3? Because there's 3 pillars of Torah and service and prayer and charity. This is 3 things. And all these things, b'chodesh hashlishi, means in the 3rd month, but also means b'chidush, renewing hashlishi, the 3 things, namely Torah, Avodah, they should be renewed. There has to be a renewal. And by means of this, there will also be made a renewal in the world. Like the Torah, like it says, Eretz Yira v'Shakata, like it says, when God gave the Torah, it says the world was afraid before the Torah was given, v'Shakata, and then it became quiet. When God gave the Torah, there was stability in the world. In the beginning, Yira, before the Torah was given, says that the whole world was afraid, it was shaking, like it is now. But when the Torah is used, Shakata, then everything becomes quiet. Shehitna Kodesh Baruch Hu, that God made a condition with the creation. If the Jews receive the Torah, then you will continue to exist. If not, then the world will be shaking and unstable. Okay, so what did we just finish learning? We finished learning that when God gave the Torah, it was an amazing thing. The Shabbat, after giving the Torah, is Parshat Naso, that elevates all of the things which are connected to the Torah, especially what it says about the Torah, that it's the foundation of the world. The Torah and prayer and acts of kindness, those three things are contained in the Torah, and Parshas Naso means that all of them should be elevated, should have a new meaning to them. And that's pretty much like what we were just learning in Lukuti Torah, that the purpose of the Jewish people in the world is to look at the world from God's point of view. Everything is important. Everything is precious. Everything contains meaning and blessing. Everything is a miracle. That elevates the world. How we look at the world elevates the world. Now let's explain how this works. And this has to be renewed, right? B'chodesh shlishi means chirush, renewal, shlishi, these three things. When is that done? On this week's Torah, the coming Torah portion, reading Parshas Naso. Right? By you, outside of Israel, it'll be done a week after we do in Israel. Let's look at the sentence. In the sentence where it says, Achodesh Shlishi, on the third month, it says, on that day, the Jewish people went into the desert of Sinai. Remember, last week we learned about the desert. The whole idea of what the desert is and humility and how we have to translate the midbar to medaber. Rashi explains that lo yatzorech elo lichtov b'yom hahu. It says, what does it say? It's telling the story. What happened when the Jews got out of Egypt? And 50 days later, 40, whatever is 40, is 44 days later, they went into the desert of Sinai. On this day, they came into the desert of Sinai. Rashi says, what do you mean on this day? It should say on that day. It's telling something that happened before. Right? The Jews got out of Egypt 44 days later, 6 days before they received the Torah. On that day, they went into to the desert of Sinai. But it doesn't say on that day. It says on this day. Rashi says it didn't have to say that this day. It should have said that day. Why does it say on this day? Telling you that the Torah should be brand new in your eyes, just like the day it was given. You're supposed to look at the Torah like it's brand new. The fact of the matter is the Torah is given from God, and God is above time. God creates time. So it's brand new. Just take a simple example. That's the way we're supposed to look at life. We're supposed to look at life every day as brand new. Thank God I'm alive. Brand new. This is amazing. Right? People get depressed or whatever when life becomes old. Another day I have to live. I'm already this old. Life is a gift. Life is a surprise. That's what it's supposed to be. We don't know where it comes from. All of a sudden it's here. So that's the way the Torah is supposed to be. The Torah is called the living Torah, Torah Chaim. It's supposed to be brand new, just like the day it was given. The explanation is Shekenahu Hamatzis Behemoth, because that's what it is really and true. We're not just supposed to look at the Torah like it's brand new. It really is new. Shebachol Yom, that every day Mischadesh in your Matan Torah. The Torah is given by means of God. Kamudgash ben Nusach, like it says in the blessing of the Torah, you go called up to the Torah. You say no tain a Torah, that God gives the Torah. No tain means to give, not that He gave the Torah. Lashon hoveh, present. Al derech, like it says, Heischadjes bria b'kol yom, like the world is created brand new every day. Like it says, Machadesh b'tuva b'kol yom tomid. God creates the whole world brand new. How much more so regarding to the Torah? The Torah is certainly brand new. Why? Because since that the world is being created by means of the Torah, like it says, like it says that God looked into the Torah and he creates the world. The Torah is the blueprints of the world. It's the, how do you say, the pattern by which the world is being created all the time. And therefore, if the world we have to look at is being brand new, and it is brand new all the time, so if so, first of all, we have to look at the novelty of the Torah. And by means of this is made a novelty in the whole entire creation. Close is the whole entire novelty of the giving of the Torah on the whole year, and is made. When do we get this feeling of renewal? And the holiday of the giving of the Torah. And the holiday, what are the holidays in Judaism? The holidays are, like it says in the word, holy days. In Hebrew, it's not called holy days. They're called good days, Yom Tov. Good means light. It says when Moses was born, they saw that it was good. So what does it mean that the world was filled with light? When God created the world, he created light. He saw the light was good. Light is good. Holidays are a day, windows into the eternal. The windows to give us a little bit of a look at the Creator, something eternal. We see that the world is being created by an eternal God, eternally good God. The rest of the year, we don't feel it so much. On the holidays, we have a chance to look at it. But when we feel that the world is being created by an eternal God, so it's being created all the time, not just we see it a little, we feel it a little bit more in the holidays. You're supposed to. Says the Rebbe, the fact is that when we see it and feel it in the holidays, that should give us a little reminder every day that that's what we should be feeling and we can be feeling. The same thing, the holiday of Shavuot. The holiday of Shavuot is a little bit of a look to see the eternalness, the infinity, the almightiness of the Creator, that he's not just creating, he's giving us the world. I mean, he's giving us the Torah, and he's creating the world through the Torah. God is giving us the world through the Torah. So if the world is new, how much more so the Torah is new? That's the source of this renewal. Rosh Hashanah, just like in Rosh Hashanah, the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, that's the one day when man was created. That's when the whole physical creation is renewed, right? We get a glimpse into that. And that renewal that we feel on the first day, Rosh Hashanah, we should feel every day. From this is understood also regarding to the novelty of the Torah by man. Divrei Torah chadashim alecha, that the words of Torah should be new to you, as though they were given today. Limud Torah, that the learning of the Torah should be chayut v'tainug. You should feel the Torah is alive and it's brand new. It's something that has, what you have in front of you is not old. So to speak, it's the first instant that it's being given. Lo yeh beinecha shouldn't be like an old letter or something that you get, but it should be like something brand new that everybody, I have a letter from the king. Everybody wants to read it. In the Torah every day, this is enlivening the life of the Torah in the time of giving of the Torah. So when we feel this holiday is coming up this Friday, by you outside is Friday and Saturday, Friday and Shabbos, this should give us a little bit of an inspiration to what's happening all the time. The Torah is brand new. And so if the Torah is already brand new and we see it, it's coming from God, and we get a little feeling of this on Shavuot, so that's, you can't get any better than that. They're coming from God and we feel God. So if so, how can the Shabbat afterwards elevate that? How can the Shabbat, what are we supposed to do in the Shabbat after the giving of the Torah, that should elevate the giving of the Torah? What does it mean? How is it supposed to be? So we'll do this tomorrow, but let's just continue. We said before that there's two things in the novelty of the giving of the Torah. First of all, the novelty of giving of the Torah that was done back then, 35 years ago, when God gave the Torah. That was really brand new. And also giving of the Torah every day. That it all should be given brand new every day. So we have, first of all, the Torah, the first time it was given, everybody's souls jumped out of their bodies. That was a brand new, amazing thing. That's a novelty that the God's will should be revealed in the world. That's one type of renewal. Another type of renewal is what happens every day that we should remember that the Torah is given constantly. How can we do this? And by means of that, you feel that the whole world is an amazing, happy miracle. Everything is brand new, right? And it's brand new for us to fix up. And we're created brand new. We have new powers every day to fix up what we have to do, and to stand in the stand in the challenges, and to transform the challenges into blessings. Brand new. That comes from the Torah. How do we get this renewal? And how can we increase this renewal? We get the renewal on the holiday of Shavuot. How can we increase in this in Parshat Naso, which is read afterwards? That and much more we'll learn tomorrow. Let's now learn. Here we go.